Okay, and now for something completely different on the TJ Acharian channel. It's a 100% hands-off front-end software loader for the 8-bit Atari. So we go backwards and forwards when we spot something that looks interesting. What is that? No idea. What we'll do is say confirm, and then we'll go auto launch. That's a nice looking intro screen. I started a little project over a year ago now, which some of you might have seen in some of the sketchy videos I've used it for. I created a tool which I could randomly pick an Atari 8-bit game from XEX and ATR file images that I had in various downloaded game archives. This went on to merge with another project I had on the go where I was experimenting with controlling my upgraded 800XL remotely, making use of the ACI USB keyboard interface upgrade. Now originally I was doing this with a Raspberry Pi acting as a keyboard device, as a HID interface. Never really got that to completely work without a lot of bugs, so yeah, made some changes along the way, and talk about them later. But due to other commitments, various challenges, finding a working solution, this got shelved for a while, then slightly reinvented, shelved for a while longer, and then finally more recently I've dedicated time to turning this into a fully working solution that I thought worthy of sharing with the wider Atari community. So here it is. It's a little thing called VGAR, which I'll attempt to describe in full and demo to you all in this video. Let's just load something up here. So VGAR, it's a Python based program that acts as a front end loader for Atari 8-bit games, other software, using RespeQT and a USB SIO device, which allows you to load the games directly on the Atari. It additionally has features designed to interoperate with modern commonly installed Atari 8-bit upgrades, namely the ACI USB interface and the Ultimate 1 MB. If you're lucky enough to have those devices installed, you can use this software to completely control and automate both loading of software on the Atari and control of the keyboard input from your PC, allowing typing and use of most of the Atari special keys. The catch, however, is we need a go-between, and for this I've used an Arduino Uno R3 board to allow VGAR to speak to the Atari, because it provides a HID pass-through in place of a keyboard you would normally attach to the ACI USB port. As the Arduino's USB then connects to the Atari, the PC has to speak to it via a TTL serial adapter. Now there may be better ways to do this with alternative hardware, but the two additional devices required are available very cheaply, so that's what VGAR is designed to use right now. Other hardware methods could be used because the software just blindly sends HID codes to the serial interface, so you just need something there to interpret that and turn that into key presses on the Atari. Once you've handled various prerequisites, which I've documented, you launch the VGAR beta Pi script, which I'm going to run now. And you're met with the main VGAR interface after a short pause. Right, so here you can opt to either manually browse your Atari collection via a normal file interface, or you can choose from a pool of 100 games which has been loaded randomly in the background. So what you do is go random file name, and there we go, we have a game selected. If you don't like any of the games in your batch, you can go load batch and then go random file name again. You're now cycling through a different batch of games. So now the game is selected. If available, its cover image comes up. Some of these don't have cover images, so there we go, there's one that has. Now at this point you can just click the copy button and you can browse to the path. There you go, you can manually see, it tells you where you have your game in your archive. If you have this correctly configured, however, you can click Mount in RespeQT and you see your game there has been loaded. Okay, so this is now ready to load if I reboot my Atari manually. I'm just going to check how my camera is configured so you can see exactly what's going on. So you're still looking at my desk here. We're just going to have a quick zoom in there, and this is the interface I'm talking about. There we have our serial TTL. That's just a USB extension going off to my PC. Serial connection goes through to here, and the TX and the RX serial on the Uno R3 is connected, ground is connected, and there's a switch there, and that is just related to programming of the device. That provides a reset into the hardware programming mode, and that is going off and connecting to the ACI USB port on the back of my Atari. So this is allowing the Python code to ultimately convert serial codes into HID device key presses on the Atari. So you've seen that. Just on the fly here, have a look at what is going on. As I said, if you're lucky enough to have your interface connected, as I have, and you also have an ultimate 1 megabyte, we don't just have to do mounting RespeQT. I'm going to close that down for a moment. I'm going to do auto launch, which does everything for you. So RespeQT has mounted, the Atari has rebooted because we've sent the correct keyboard controls there, and the Atari is booting the disk image from RespeQT across the USB SIO interface. So there we have it. That is the gist of what this is. It's a front-end interface into a software collection and automated control of the Atari to load the games. It's 100% hands-off front-end software loader for the 8-bit Atari. And finally the game is loaded. I thought something had gone wrong there. Let's just have a look at this. No idea what this game is. Space Fortress Omega. Okay. Oh, this looks like a bit of fun. Sort of TIE fighter type things there. I can slow down. I can attack these guys. Didn't seem to get any of them. I'm assuming that's fuel and that's not going to kill me. No, that is going to kill me. Maybe I should have shot them. But there we go. I've never seen this game before. It's just been randomly presented to me by the VGAR software and very quickly loaded into the Atari with very minimal of effort. Yes, you can shoot those. So this looks quite an interesting little game. I'm not going to dwell too long, but I would like to pick this up later. Is that a tunnel or is that going to kill me? It's a tunnel. Oh, wonderful. No, I like the look of this game. This looks like a bit of fun. But what we're going to do, I'm going to let myself die. I'm just going to stop that. I'll decide, you know, I quite like this game, so I'm going to use one of the features, because this was designed to be a tool for me to randomly go through a bunch of games and decide how good I think they are. I've got this little thing on the left that says rating database, and here we say good or bad. I think this looks like quite a good game, so I'm going to click that there. Now what this has done, if I click this button here, I have this little panel where I've already loaded a bunch of games previously. Anything that I've said I think is good is in this list at the top, and there we go, it's loaded the path. And anything I don't like, I'm particularly sticking in the bottom hole there. Maybe we could expand this later to be a little bit more descriptive, you know, maybe add notes, but for the moment this is what this does. And what you can see is if I want to go to a previous one, so Ninja for example, double click on that, Ninja's been loaded, so I click auto launch again. This does something a little bit different because this isn't an ATR archive, this is an XEX image, so it's loaded a different profile in RespeQT with my PC DOS in the first disk drive. The second disk is a mounted drive where I have an XEX image that has just been copied in on the fly by the software, and an automated key press has loaded that disk. So that's my maybe slightly clunky but effective mechanism for loading XEX images through VGAR. I'm mounting a DOS disk and then I'm loading the XEX with a few additional key presses. Everything is still automated. This looks like some sort of compressed copy of Ninja. There we go. Ninja is loaded from my ratings database list of games. So yeah, we've seen a couple of features here. I want to make sure I get through everything that this software does. Here's an interesting one. I want to get back to basics. So I'm going to close RespeQT here on my PC. I'm just going to hit the reset key on the Atari manually. There's no disk presented to it, so it will drop straight back to basic. And here's where I'll show you this doesn't just send automated key presses. You can do a whole lot more to control your Atari. If I hit the control button, and there we go, we have a nice little image there of an Atari 800 XL. And what can I do with this? Well, if I click all the keys, hopefully you should see that that's coming out on the Atari. So I have an Atari keyboard on my PC, and I can type away by clicking keys, but we don't necessarily want to do it that way. I want to be able to use my PC keyboard to type. I can stick the cursor in this box here. Oh, let's say how are you today? And I click send string, and there you go, that string is sent. Get rid of that, that's just a little scratch pad there. Oh, I could simply just do key capture. Oh, got an error there. Oh, this is where I find, oh yeah, I was about to say key mapping was off, but holding shift does actually work. Okay. And there you go, that's fully typed from the PC. Quick basic program on the Atari. Oh, I want to break that, I can't get out of it. I'm going to hit the break key. It's not working, hold on. Oh dear. Have I found a bug? Yes, I found a bug. Okay, right, I'll add... Yeah, break key is not implemented properly. I'm probably sending the wrong HID code. We'll come back to that another time. We'll brush over that. But what we can also do is use any of these hotkeys. If I press reset, that's mapping to the appropriate function key. That does reset for us. And what else can I do? If I want to hold a key down, if I hold control on my PC keyboard, I can pick a key, any key, G. That's now held down. That's interesting because I'm finding bugs during the demo, because although it's held down, I've only got one key press. Let's click another one. Yeah, okay, let's... yes, I've got a vague recollection. I may not have fully implemented that for alphanumeric keys, because why would you? What it is implemented for are things like reset. Holding down reset there, it's staying black. I can hold down help. That wasn't what I intended. How do you boot into Ultimate 1 megabyte? I'm trying to remember now. Would that get you in? Let's try it manually. Yeah, it does, but I think it's a timing thing. Hold down reset, press help. Hold down control and reset. You see it's holding it down. And I manual click on help. Yeah, okay, so I mean, there are some bugs. This is a beta version. Delays on key presses which just need a bit of tweaking just to get certain things right, to get the effects you want. But in terms of, you know, if I hold control, I can hold down a whole bunch of keys. I don't think the Atari interprets that too well when you do many, but that's how the software works. And then when you click a key on its own, it cancels any of the holds. So it just needs a little bit of tweaking there. Another thing left over from development, this little box here, you can do HID send. You can send direct HID codes in decimal or hex if you do 0x. And oh, I'm still doing key capture. Let's just do escape to cancel that. I don't know any codes off the top of my head. I'm going to stab at 38 and do HID send. Oh yeah, that's a slash. So that's helps with debugging. You can send the numbers directly there within the software. I've used that debug to map the right codes to all the keys by kind of trial and error really. But yeah, that's how that works. You can bring that up whenever you want. When you're in the middle of a game, it's always going to be connected to that serial interface, whatever state the main VGAR software is in. Okay, what else have I got to tell you? Oh yes, there's a few things. So the rating database was my first attempt at storing and recording what games we've been looking at. But then I thought to myself, it would be nice if we had a few favourites we could put on presets. And as you can see, we've got some, as well as a central image there, we've got a few game images around the main part of the interface. So if I click one of those, There we go, that's a game called Panther. That is preset saved in there, and I can click auto launch. It's an XEX image, it's going via DOS, and it will load up your choice of game from the presets. Skip forward a bit here because it takes a while to load. I'm not sure if I'm running optimal serial speed at the moment. I was having some errors going on with that, but yeah, your mileage may vary with your setups for this. Okay, so that's one game loaded as a preset, but how do we actually store presets? Well, okay, let's load a batch of games and do a random file name generation. I'm just going to stop that game on the Atari for a little while just so we can hear what's going on. Random file name, find one with at least an image to illustrate this. Ha ha ha. This is teasing me to show you another feature in a minute, but yeah, I've let it give me a random of an image. So say I wanted to overwrite that bottom right preset, I hold down the control key and click it. And there we go, that game is now on that preset. When I do a single click to load it, so I can skip to another one, and I can skip back to that one whenever I so please. So 6 slots, mainly to keep it the size that it is. It's a small, compact little tool. Could add some more of those, but I've gone with that for the moment because you also have, as I said, the racing database where you can have a much wider list of games you want to save. These are ASCII readable files underneath, so if you put stuff, if you want to do a bulk edit of this, you can do so. In there that you change your mind about, you can click and you say delete selected, and you can take things out of the list one by one. So that's presets. What else have we got? I've gone along the top, browse, random file names, copying the path, mounting in RespeQT, full auto launch, the ratings database, the control system. But lower down, what's this all about? Well, loading batches, that's because we've been through a few and we've tried the best games in a batch, and we've tried all the good ones, let's load another batch of 100. It doesn't have to be 100 though. This slider means I can do smaller batches. Here's a batch of 13. If I go load batch, and you'll see there's far less it's cycling through there. But still, we're kind of, randomly fumbling in the dark to find games that we're not aware of, because there's such a vast amount of Atari software out there. I probably only played 30-40 games maybe when I was a kid, perhaps. Wild estimate there, but there's so much more out there, and I wanted to to experience it without just sort of randomly going through dry text. So lastly, while fiddling about with this software, I was getting annoyed that I could only randomly delve in. So when I had a batch of games, so let's load a batch of 100. Oh, I've gone to the wrong path, I need to change this, hold on. There we go, there's my main Atari games root folder. I can load a batch of games from there. But as I said, randomly going through, there look like a couple of nice ones there, but it's ending up on one with no image that I recognise the name, but yeah, I want to see some of those others. So what I can do is I added this feature to go select. It changes the slider from, instead of defining the number of files in a batch, I can cycle through the batch that I've just loaded manually. What was that? Well, let's stop that, and I can use the arrow keys to specifically hone in on something that I like the look of. Sometimes it's multiple clicks because the slider is 100 points long, and actually I don't know why it's multiple clicks. It should be a one-to-one when you've loaded a batch of 100 that you're browsing through it. Yeah, it seems to take 2 clicks to move one position. There's something wrong in that code. As I said, it's a beta. So we go backwards and forwards when we spot something that looks interesting. What is that? No idea. What we'll do is say confirm, and then we'll go auto launch. So although we're loading random batches of games, we're then given back some sort of choice with what we're selecting. And as I said, we don't need to use this random stuff. We can build our own lists in the ratings database of games that we want to be selectable, or we can manually browse through. Oh, There's me going to press the Atari keyboard when I could be doing this. Pang. Wow, this one's taken a long time to load. I think I might need to adjust my serial speed. This is incredible. Something might have finally loaded. That's a nice looking intro screen. I could spend some time listening to that pokey music, but I want to continue the demo, so let's see if we can start the game. Press fire to play. Tour mode or panic mode? Or tour mode, I suppose. Oh, I recognise this. I think this is a conversion of a 16-bit game. I think I might have played this on the ST. Nice. I see, so when I get hit by the balls I lose a little bit of energy. Can I only shoot up? What is the point of that? Yeah, oh I see, you don't have to actually shoot it, you just need to put that in the way of it. When they get so small they will come out. And you're protecting yourself. I get the premise of the game a bit more now. Oh, ow. Oh, the little one got me. Oh, what's that? Smart bomb, yeah. Oh, little guys. Ow, ow, ow. I'm dying. Okay, there we go. That's Pang. So that's gone back to being the slider for selecting more games. If I do select, I can browse through, see what else is in this batch. But yeah, nothing really jumps out. So I'll do another batch, and I can have another browse through. Oh, what was that? Some sort of that looks a bit like Space War. Let's have a go at that. It's Asteroids M4. Okay, asteroids with 4 different ships by the looks of it. Let's have a quick look at that. Hands off still, just to be clear. Oh, it's loaded Pang again. I'll tell you why it's loaded Pang again, because I always forget that after you've selected your game in the slider, you put the slider back into the normal batch size mode, but confirm the game with that button. I'll click auto launch again. I might have to do a UI change for that, because when you click auto launch maybe something pops up and says do you want to confirm, because I've done that a lot. You only really realise when the game starts to load that a different disk was mounted into RespeQT from the previous loaded game. Modified for multi-joy. Ooh. We need some different joystick hardware that I haven't got. Okay, I'll click start. Asteroids 1981 Atari. They modded the original Asteroids. Right, okay, how do I start this? The control doesn't seem to be working. Do I want to press start? Interesting. Oh, I pressed pause, right. Okay, now I press start. Okay, here we go. Perfect. It's just Asteroids. But this is some sort of modded version, so maybe this does work multiplayer. Won't be trying that out now. What I'm trying to illustrate is, if you fancy a bit of a game on your 8-bit Atari, a bit of classic gaming, you're not really sure what you want to play, just have a go at this. Just load batch. We can go random, see what it gives us. I don't like that. Select. Let's have a little look what we got. Oh, Treasure Island Dizzy. Confirm that. Auto launch. Again, I don't think that originally came out on the 8-bit Atari, did it? It was that back port. As in, it came out on the ST rather, but on the 8-bit, I'm not so sure. Possibly. Was it a Spectrum game as well, or was it a latter day game? I'm going to check this. I'm just really getting into playing some games here because I'm enjoying using this software, but I should really close it up because I think I've demoed everything I really can. A few other things to say. Why did I do this? Well, great question. Started off with a small DOS batch script to randomly select a game to play on my YouTube channel. Then I was playing around with something a bit more interesting with a Raspberry Pi. That would be a bit more remote interface. We may come back to that, but yeah, eventually the Arduino board was the best solution for this. I'm interested to know what others are going to get out of this, if anything at all. Was this a complete waste of time? I've got some plans to tweak this a little bit for different hardware interfaces. I was looking at some different Arduino boards. The Raspberry Pi will rear its head, as I keep mentioning. To know if anyone can think of any good features for this software, if you enjoy using it. Any bugs you find, I've seen a couple in this demo, please report them and I'll take a look. As I say, the links for the software on GitHub will be in the description. Currently version beta 0.1 I've called it is out there. Is missing is the manual selection of games, so I will be uploading 0.2 in the very near future. I probably won't do anything else to it in terms of the bug fixes that you've seen here because they're quite minor things, because I think it's quite a stable release. But further releases, as I say, will fix various bugs and hopefully add some more interesting functionality. So this has been a bit of a play around with VGAR. So I know there's a lot of different ways of loading software on your Atari out there, and this is nothing new when it comes to the actual interface that loads the software itself, but it's using, you know, a rather simple and classic way of loading software on Atari, that being the SIO USB interface, but just adding another layer on top of that, making it a little bit more usable, and yeah, hopefully you're going to have some fun with this. There you go, everybody. This has been TJ Atarian. Please like and subscribe to my content if you like what you see and you want to encourage me to do some more. Please download VGAR. Also, you'll find a Buy Me a Coffee link. If you want to give me any encouragement for future development, I'll be more than happy if you want to contribute to the development effort on here. Bought a few different boards, so you know this has cost money to put together, but it's something I wanted to do. If you want to encourage me to do more with it, or you have any particular direction, any particular hardware that you want me to make this work with, then yeah, buy me a coffee. That's a great way to encourage me if there's any spend involved on adding features to this. Thank you for watching. Not sure what the next video will be. Maybe something with this, maybe some STE content. Who knows? Have a great evening. Bye for now.